Greta took it upon herself to take sole charge of me. She was the only one who dared enter my room and inform the family on my progress.
He ate all his dinner today.
Or?
Everything's been left standing again.
Or?
He hasn't eaten now for 2 days.
I can hear you, you know. You think just because you can't understand me, that doesn't mean I can't understand you? But I can! I can hear every sound you make, every moan!
Here's 1 potato left. That's for you, Father.
Yes, Father, go on, have the last potato.
I've had quite sufficient, Mother. There you are, Greta.
I don't need any more food. I wish you'd eat it, Mother.
I want no more of this silly nonsense.
Oh, I'm sorry, it was all my fault.
No, it's not your fault. It was nobody's fault. What are to do about a potato? That's okay, it won't go to waste. We'll save it for Gregor. Father, why don't you let Greta go get you a beer?
Yes, Father, let me get you a beer, like you used to have after your supper.
No, thank you, Greta.
Oh, come on, you know you like a beer after your supper.
There's not enough money for potatoes, then there's not enough money for beer.
Do you hear that?
Perhaps he can understand what we're saying.
Of course not.
How do you know? How can you tell? Perhaps he listens to us.
Well, maybe he should listen. Won't hurt him to know.
Father!
Maybe he should know what this indisposition of his has caused us, and then he'd know what we're trying to do for him and how we're suffering on his account.
And what about Gregor? I don't suppose you think he's suffering, shut up in his room, not seeing us all, not knowing what's going to happen? You owe him a lot. Don't forget that.
I do!
Yes! All of us. How he slaved and toiled to be a commercial traveler, traveling up and down the countryside to all those awful places to take orders. Yes.
And all those letters he wrote. All those miserable letters from those cold hotel rooms.
We simply took it for granted. And how he longed to hear you play the violin again, always knowing that he would earn enough to support us. And so often he wasn't even home to enjoy it.
Yes.
He was becoming a good salesman, that lad. He could have reached a high position in this firm and earned a royal salary.
And that secret plan to send you to the conservatorium to study.
Now I'd like to propose a small toast. First, to our dear mother, the most wonderful of Christmas dinners.
Hear, hear!
Next to my father, may he spend his remaining years comfortably smoking Havana cigars. And thirdly, to my dear talented sister Greta. And a little surprise.
Oh, Gregor, do tell us, what is it?
I'm not sure I should yet.
Oh, Gregor, don't be a tease. You've gone so far. You must.
Well, I'm determined that our little one should play the violin in the grand orchestra. And, despite great expense, I'm sending her to study at the conservatorium.
Oh, Gregor, what a wonderful, wonderful thing you've given us!
I can't believe it, my lovely brother. I'm so happy.
Ah, yes, the conservatorium! My word, soon we'll be seeing the great Gregor Samsa playing at the concert hall and saying that's our very own girl. Dreams, he never did send Greta to the conservatorium.
But he meant well.
Why didn't she go? Because you took the money. You took the money that was meant for Greta!
Investments! That certain investments have survived the wreck of our misfortune.
Yes.
The money Gregor brought home hadn't been used after all. I had been shrewd enough at the time to invest some of it.
Yes, yes.
And now the brokers have informed me that the investments have grown.
so many things.
Whilst, however, it'll be sufficient for the rent, etc., as well as putting by some for a rainy day.
Oh, yes, that's most important.
We'll still need to work in order to earn enough to keep ourselves.
Of course.
Well, let me work. I'm longing to go out to work.
Yes, you could take in washing as your mother did back in the bad old days.
But only till Gregor's better.
We don't know that.
Washing won't bring in much.
I'll help until I can find a little job. Old brain hasn't quite gone rusty. Might do some bookkeeping or stock checking at a warehouse. I should have started fresh again instead of depending on him.
Who was to know?
I should have. There was always something strange about Gregor.
Gregor strange?
Yes, Gregor, yes. Although he worked hard, he never seemed to be a part of it. Don't think he ever wanted to. Stood outside it somehow, as if to say, this has nothing to do with me.
How can you say that when he worked so hard?
I know he worked hard, but did you ever see his face sometimes after he'd come home from work? It was hard with resentment, saying, it's for you I'm doing this.
Stop feeling guilty, Father, because we lived off him. He kept this house from crumbling.
I don't want to hear you talking like that.
If he toiled and slaved after something he resented, perhaps that's why he's left us now.
Good night, Father. Mother.
I've not left you. I'm coming back. I didn't resent anything. Even if I didn't keep much money for myself, I didn't resent it. Oh God, you make me so ashamed. I could hide away forever. If only I could speak to you. If I could thank you, Greta, for taking care of me. Perhaps then you don't get used to me. I can't stand just the silence! No, I must speak. I must gather all my strength together and speak to her.
Greta, it's time to feed him.
I won't try to speak again. I know I'm repulsive. I'll go on being repulsive. How good you are, Greta, to come here at all. Don't come anymore, Greta! I don't like you! Opening my window twice a day as if there was some intolerable stench in here! Why did you run away like that? You must be used to me by now.
He must be terribly lonely. Tried to speak to me, but he couldn't. He could only make a squeaking noise, and I ran out, as if he was something filthy and disgusting. My own Gregor.
You're very brave, Greta.
Usually he hides from me before I clear his room, as if he knows how loathsome he is.
She's very good to him the way she ministers to him.
But today he just stood there in front of me. I felt sick.
Perhaps he was trying to thank you. He was always very polite.
He just stares out the window. Stares out at his old world.
It's growing dimmer. It's like a desert waste of gray sky and gray land. Everything's gray. Everything.